about this electronic APC. That will make us, when we roll it out, to actually be effective and to be what we want it to be, so that we don't roll out something and then a year later it's causing problems and you were in this platform and you didn't ask the question that you're supposed to ask. That will assist us to strengthen. I think the CFO has spoken about security features, spoken about different elements of this. But I think I'm expecting now with our discussion to hear what colleagues have got questions about. Was if one colleague is asking, the others are going to also benefit from that, so that we move on knowing that we are implementing something that is going to be helpful to the profession for a long time. I always say that one time, I'm sure the colleagues, can we please allow me to speak? I know that I'm not a very vibrant speaker, but just allow me. If you listen, you'll sort of hear what I'm trying to say. I think one time the portfolio committee of this country, health portfolio committee of this country, many years ago, said and agreed that we are going to make primary health care free for the country. And I think everyone praised them and everyone was happy until it came to the primary healthcare sector where the professional nurses were there, saying, we are seeing people moving from one clinic to another because there were no means that were, or systems that were put in place that the person can only go to one clinic and get this free service. The service was free, but it then ended up being abused by the users themselves who could move from one place to another. So we are trying to say that this may look okay, but please advise us at this stage where you think we need to strengthen, advise us where you think we need to improve. We are here for that, colleagues. So we really are going to appreciate any difficult question that you ask, as long as it relates to us improving and it relates to us going back to relook into what and how we want to enroll to roll out this process. We are really going to appreciate it. So I'm opening it for the discussion, colleagues, and I really expect us to all participate in this discussion. Thank you. We'll see then with the hands. Someone can please help me to. Can I ask Dr. Mswede, you are seeing who is raising the hand and who is raised first? Please assist me with the taking of hands. And
Chairperson, thank you so much. If you can just unshare there so that we can also think. I think the first one was NP. I'm just going to read as it reflects on the screen. NP, you are.
Hi, sorry, it's Naileen Paul from Diskim. I would just like to find out what is the possibility on the e-register that a printout can look similar to the electronic APC that the nurses will receive. Reason being, currently we have no problem using the e-register, but we do find some resistance from Department of Health, Pharmacy Council, Board of Healthcare funders. None of them during inspections or applications for permits or practice numbers want to accept the e-register screen print because that's what we can do at the moment. Is there a possibility printing out or downloading the APC as the nurses will receive it from the e-register to use that for during inspections or when applying for Section 22 or DHS practice numbers?
okay, thank you, Nalin. I think this question will be best answered by the CFO who was presenting, and also maybe it will be answered by the person who's going to be presenting the e-register after break. So we can either pick this question and answer it later, or if the CFO is ready to answer it now, I think I would like him to indicate. Thank you, Mr. Mkwede.
Sure. Can I suggest that maybe we take 5 questions and then they get answered and then we continue just like that?
No problem. No problem.
And also the senior manager ICT is here, so he'll be able to respond to ICT related features. The next one that I saw is TP, Theodora Peterson. If you can, you're on the floor, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So, can I first of all say that we've had a good relationship with SANC in terms of the receiving of the APCs, the certificates every year, and then we would distribute it to our hospitals. Now, firstly, this will now give an extra um, action that the people management officers at the hospital will have to maybe do in checking with the e-register as well. In the past, the nurses would or it will be distributed, and they would make copies and put it on the people's files. So this would create an extra action from the people management officers to put it to go to the e-register and double check like the person have mentioned before. That's the one part. The other part that I'm a bit more concerned about is the onus on who is the onus now to ensure that the email addresses of the nursing staff is correct. Now, we already have the onus is on the employer to deduct the money, and that we have done successfully up to now. The question is the onus of the email addresses. Now, we have up to a certain level, you would have nursing staff within the employee of the department that has official email addresses. When they do move from one province to another, that will obviously change. So then, if it is the Gmail addresses that you will be looking for, whose onus is it to provide that to you? Number one, and in terms of if we provide it as from a department, try to endeavor to provide it. How does that link to, the control of personal information of people? So I would just like that for as a first part, if that could be answered. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Theodore, if you can, I think when people ask, if you can just say who are from which province or which organization so that we can notice.
Okay, so I'm from the Western Cape.
Western Cape, okay, thank
Department
you
of Health, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next one, we're taking the next one. I think the next one is Mrs. B.E. Shezi. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning, collaborators. Thank you very much for the opportunity. What I want to know is about the size of the APC. In my understanding, if you are downloading and printing, you are getting an A4, but I understood the APC is written on both sides. When now I'm thinking, am I going to get the same size as was the original, the hard copies that we're receiving written on both sides, or am I going to get the 2 pages and then print again to be the one certificate? Thank you.
The next one is Mr. I hope I'm pronouncing it okay, Mutete. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Indeed, thumbs up for South African Nursing Council. I'm speaking as a stakeholder from Society of Midwives South Africa, and I would like to make an input at this stage of development of the document to say this would give an opportunity to be able to indicate when entries are being made. When we are writing the state of the World Midwifery Report, it is not representative of the midwives that are available in the country. So at this stage, if this electronic certificate can be able to indicate those that are midwives, so that when the reports are written are representative of the country, because we are not currently we are not able to get the actual numbers and of how many midwives do we have in the country. It's always a difficult question to answer. Thank you.
Statistic SA.
the the fifth one, if I'm not wrong, it will be Me Ebonyi. Over to you.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Musode. Thank you very much, Chairperson. My two clarity-seeking questions are also linked to the first two letter speakers, but need more clarity on that. One, as we know that on deduction on PESAL, the APCs, the annuals have been coming in bulk to the provinces. So this change here, electronic, means that they will not, that has changed now. It will only be going to individual nurses and not a bulk received to the provincial offices where we were checking whether all nurses have registered and those. However, we know that we also verify through the e-register. The second one is with regard to the emails. First, on the official emails, is it, I just want to check, or is it acceptable that nurses can use the emails of the facilities? I'm asking this, I'm from Northwest, and we have those deep rural clinics where nurses are using the emails for the clinic. Is it acceptable that they can use those emails for the clinics and it can be sent, not necessarily the personal email? That's the clarity that I'm seeking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, May. Maybe let's take Mr. Tibulawi Marwela. Talk over to you.
Thank you. I'm Tibulawi Marwela from University of Venda, Limpopo. Mine will be just a comment. For us to get, I know we have got the e-register where we can check. I don't know if the IT may not make it possible so that when I check there, because I use my ID, there will be an option for me to download my slip, even if there's no email. That is the first question. Secondly, if there's something that the business people are using, you are given a PIN and that PIN is unique to you, then you go with the PIN to the database and check if this person is paying tax correctly and be able to download the tax certificate. I mean, that will be also be good to prevent fraudulent. If I have my unique PIN to download, it's safer. Like when you are tendering, those people will only go to the system with your PIN and check if you are registered or not registered. That can also assist the NACE to go with the PIN and check exactly. It will direct to you, individual person, whether this person is registered or not registered. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. Marwela. Maybe, Chair, we can now give provide a response for the questions that were raised, and we really appreciate. Do I hand it over to you, Chair, or do I allow the chambers to respond to some of the questions that were raised? Maybe if there are those that you feel they were not accurately covered, or you feel you want to add something, then you can add, Chairperson. Will that be in order, Chair? I'm looking at you on the screen as I'm speaking.
No, it's fine, Dr. Mswede. I think there are 6 questions that have been raised, and I would request those who are in the chambers from the finance and our ICT to be able to assist the colleagues. I think the questions are almost similar. I picked up a question that was talking about the downloading of the document from the e-register, whether that's going to be possible. I picked up a question that was talking about the email, who has the honors to provide the email, and also the question of whether an email from an institution can be used for those rural area nurses who may not be able to get access to their own private email. Also got a question that was asking on whether our APC can now indicate who is a midwife from the Midwifery Society, and a question of whether we can then strengthen it further by giving a PIN or whether is it a PIN or is the sunk registration number and ID enough? I think that's the question we wanted to find out from them to improve the security feature. Those are questions that I picked up. I may have missed others, and I'm asking then the colleagues to comment on each of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. CFO, over to you, and then Mr. Mahulane will follow in that order. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm going to take the questions which I think from, let me say, that are not IT related. And then the IT related ones, then I request our IT division to assist. Let me start with.
First, it doesn't show here like canceling this people.
Yeah, I can see then those who are invited.
Can we mute, colleagues?
Can we really mute so that we can hear the responses? Thank you.
Okay, Chair, let me start with the question on
CFO, if you are speaking, you are muted. May I also request that you go back to putting your face so that some of us can lip read what you are saying if we cannot probably hear. Thank you.
Am I audible now, Chair?
You are audible, CFO. Please put your face on. It helps. Put your video, the camera on so that we can be also able to lip read as we speak, where we are missing your voice.
It is on. Apologies if the lighting is not that. Yeah.
CFO, I'm not sure whether it's me alone who's not hearing you. Maybe that other members are in my position.
Now it's fine. We can see you now.
We can't hear.
We can hear, but we
Hear me
can't
now,
see.
Chair?
I can't see, I can't hear. So others at least can hear, they can't see. Let us try and help both our eyes and ears by seeing you. I think IT, please help us. Previously, we were seeing the CFO speaking and we're also hearing.
We can still not hear or see on this side, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Kobe. You are like me. I'm in the dark. I can't see. IT, please help us. I can see you now.
Am I audible, Chair?
You are. But there's an echo.
Now you mute it again.
Chair, can I proceed?
Yes, you can. Unmute yourself and then proceed.
Chair, let me start with the question of, I'm not sure in terms of the names. I missed the names, Chair, so apologies to the stakeholders. There was a question around whose onus is it in ensuring that email addresses are correct, and whether this is the employer's responsibility or not. I think, Chair, with this particular one is that from a legal perspective, in terms of requirements, it is indeed the practitioner's responsibility to ensure that they have furnished their latest details with the council. So that is the legislative requirement. The onus rests with the practitioner. However, Chair, we are noting that due to various reasons, geographical and other reasons, we do note that we still experience challenges with this. I think hence the necessity of these forums to engage to say, although it's the responsibility of the practitioner, I think we are asking our stakeholders to assist in this regard, meaning even the employers, even labor, and all the various stakeholders, if they can assist us where they can with this particular endeavor to update the details. So we are not shifting a responsibility to the employers. I think for us it's just a request for assistance in terms of ensuring that we help our practitioners and our stakeholders with their updating their details. So I think we do take the note in terms of there's a seemingly perception that the eAPCs will create more work in terms of having to verify on the e-register. I think we do take that note and definitely will deliberate internally. However, I think where we, as the deliberations that have happened internally thus far, we are of the view that it will decrease workload, it will lead to more efficiencies, because the bulk of the work that happens is when we distribute manually. And on our side, administratively, we need to organize the APCs in terms of the provinces and subsequently then disseminate. And we were of the assumption that that dissemination as well from the employer side as well as from the provinces is the bulk of where the work is. So the absence of that, although verification might seemingly be more, I think there are other duties which will be reduced. But Chair, this was our brainstorming, and we are still willing to take further inputs or recommendations on how we can improve, Chair. Chair, there's a question from Mrs. Molete, and I'm taking them in no particular order. It says, can APCs indicate midwives exactly, and due to the absence of maybe information around how many midwives are in the country? Chair, I think I'll just comment on the APC part, electronic APC. So when you scan the QR code, then it then takes you to the e-register. But I think in my second part of the presentation, I did indicate that the e-register then will give you full particulars of that particular practitioner. So it will also indicate the category of practitioner that they are, as well as other information. So what I'm confirming here is that whether they are a midwife or a registered nurse or a different category, that information is present when you use the QR code that takes you to the e-register. Chair, there's also a question around emails, if it's acceptable that practitioners use the emails of facilities. Chair, I think we have noted the challenges of possibly geographical location, as indicated by the stakeholder around
nurses being in rural areas. Chair, on our side, I think we definitely would promote that.
Can't hear.
You are muted, Mr. Mkwena.
Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies for that. Chair, I was responding on the question for emails, for if emails of facilities can be used. And I think we have noted that there are challenges with regards to geographical location of some of the practitioners. For instance, if they're in rural areas. Chair, what I think in our deliberations internally, and it would be a major ask as well to our stakeholders to say, possibly where the practitioners do not have email addresses, as a first bet or as a first a step would be to assist the practitioners to get an email address so that it's their email address, and if they need to, then they can access those particular APCs on their own personal email address. So I think that would be the first bet. However, if that is not possible, then I think as the SENC we do, I think it is acceptable that we then use the facilities email addresses. I think the only challenge would be if the nurse or the practitioner would need to access that facility in their private capacity. But given those challenges, we will accept the emails of the facilities. Chair, maybe let me pause here and give to IT around the IT features. In terms of, I'm not sure if our IT has taken all the questions or if I should lead you.
While ICT is still preparing, I just want to give the registrar to further add on the issue of the possibility of having an APC that also reflects specifically the midwife. Over to you, Reg. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mswede and Chairperson. As CFO has indicated that the e-register provides the information on the qualifications of the nurse. But then our colleague was asking about the data that will be used in the state of midwifery report. In that case, the data that is required is it's under the management of the Department of Health. And there is a platform which is referred to as a National Health Workforce Accounts database that presents the information on then the number of midwives and their geographic location, because I think in that report, they are more interested in the nurse midwives who are practicing as midwives in the settings where they are placed. And then if maybe SOMSA is involved in the preparation of the State of the World Midwifery Report, I would advise that maybe we have an engagement on that matter and we work together with the Department of Health and the WHO country office on the exact data that is required. But from the Nursing Council side, we keep the register that shows that this person is a nurse and a midwife. But in terms of the data, the specifics of the data for the State of the World Nursing Report, then we can engage outside the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Registrar. Over to you, Mr. Mahulani.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. Okay, thank you very much. Can you confirm if you can hear me, Chair?
I can hear you, Mr. Makholane. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Maredi Makholane. I'm the Senior Manager for ICT for the South African Nursing Council, and we are pleased to be presenting this electronic APC journey to the nursing community. I'm going to go through the questions that we asked. Some of them CFO covered them, but I'll also just provide clarity in terms of maybe where he might have not managed to go into. The first one is in relation to access to an environment or platform where you can update your email address. So I'm just going to mention it to say that when you go into our website, www.senc.co.za, once you go into URL and type that, press enter, it will take you to our website. And the first page that you'll see, it will have the communication relating to electronic APC, there's a link there mentioned that you can use to go into the page that will allow you to update the personal details. That also has a field where you can put in your email address. Then the second part of it, or the other question, it's in relation to the use of email addresses. CFO did cover this, but I just want to add to say that since this is a pilot project, we are currently looking at an additional solution where we'll be able to send SMSs to cell phones, smartphones, and nurses will then be able to access a link which will come will require a validation in order for you to open it. And once you open it, you'll be able to access your electronic APC. So we are in the process of implementing that. Once we are done with that, it will be communicated to our stakeholders. There was a question regarding the size of the APC, if it can be the same size with the one that we're currently providing. This is going to depend on the end user. So you'll have an option to either print it on an A4 or the current size that we're currently providing. So it will be required that you make changes to the printer settings in order for you to print it in whichever way you want it. If you want it to be printed back and forth of the page, that it will be required to make changes on the printer settings. And then the other question, it's in relation to the PIN, just to verify if a nurse indeed it's registered. Since we are at the pilot stage, we will consider that, and the inputs will be highly appreciated. So currently, we are just closing the gap between the inefficiencies that we are experiencing in ensuring that we are able to send the APCs to the nurses. Hence, we have introduced this part, but more is coming. Hence, we are introducing this now as a pilot project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Makolane. Colleagues, I think before we then move, let me check the time. I'm supposed to go for tea. Okay, let me just check. Okay, colleagues, thank you, Mr. Makolane. Maybe my addition on these questions, one is on the issue that was raised by Discam, where when they are inspected, the e-register is not acceptable by those that are inspecting them. I would say to Discam, it then puts a burden on us as SANC to communicate widely with all relevant stakeholders to say this is how we are now doing things. And therefore, I think if I were to be inspected by someone, say, I still want the old one, then I would make SANC aware so that SANC can communicate officially to that body that as SANC, this is how we are dealing with issues currently. Oh, sorry, I was not aware that my video was off. One, I think that is how I would respond to Discam. That we can change the printout to look like the old one. I do not think that it's actually something that is going to be possible. When we are printing out a document, normally it doesn't come with those shiny stuff and everything. But SANC should be made aware to say, as this came when we are inspected, you have advised us to use the e-register, but this is what we are being asked to produce. Then SANC should be able to help on that. The other one, I wanted just to talk about the issue of the bulk payments, because I think a colleague did ask that this bulk payment was working very well, and now that the APCs are going to be going directly to. Can I be allowed to speak?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now that the APCs are going to be going.
Okay, right, bye.
Colleagues, please can we try and make sure that when we are not on, we switch off our, we mute ourselves. It disturbs one's train of thought. And the second one, the issue of bulk payments. I hear that it has been going very well. My question probably would be to the stakeholder that was raising this and everyone else. Is it possible that when the list of the nurses is sent to SANC by the institutions, the institution already asked for the emails of those nurses that way they're going to be receiving this the APCs because it's going to go to them directly. I'm saying so because the POPIA Act does, demand that we abide by it by ensuring that we are going to be giving the information to the person, personal information to the person that it belongs to. So my suggestion would be when if previously we're just sending the names without any emails by the institutions or by the provinces, if then that can be done so that by the time it comes to SENC, already you've attached the emails that's going to go to. I think that will probably help us to deal with this issue. Then another issue that was raised by the Midwifery Society, I would like to agree with my colleagues have already presented. This is the beginning of what we are doing to change things. If what she's requesting, according to me, is if I put my name now, my practice number now with the Law Society, it shows whether I'm a practicing attorney or I'm a non-practicing attorney. And I think what she's requesting is that our, APCs should also be able to verify whether this is a midwife. Yes, the information is there, but we don't know whether the midwife is practicing at the moment or is not practicing. I think this, for me, is something that we can look forward to in the future to work towards developing our systems to get to that stage. For instance, I've got a qualification in education. I'm not teaching, but if we were going to look into people who are nurse educators, probably I'm going to be counted. I'm not there. I'm not a midwife currently practicing. I'm not a nurse administrator currently practicing. I'm not a psychiatric nurse, but I've got all this past. So I think in the future, for me, I'm saying this question is raised, but then it's poking us to think further that other professions have already, when you are checking, you know that we've got so many advocates in the country. This one is practicing and practicing where this one is not practicing, or attorneys. I think we can move forward in the future, but not for now. But for now, I'm really requesting that colleagues accept that we are working towards changing our profession to go with the times. Like in introducing this electronic APC. I think that's my addition to what has been requested. And I'm not saying we're going to be changing it to be able to identify this tomorrow, but I'm saying this is something that as council we may look forward to say how did the other professions manage to make sure that we can see how many professionals are there in the country, but how many are practicing and where they're practicing, just by opening the website. I think this is a future work from the council, whether I'll be there or won't be there at the time when it needs to be done. But for me, it does need to be considered. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah.
Can I ask or request permission that we also consider those questions that are on the charts through you, Chair, if it's okay with you, so that we balance. The first one is, if the eAPC is encrypted for the individual to open with a password, how will an employer or other stakeholders download the document from the e-registrar? Can I repeat the question? If the eAPC, I think this one is for Mr. Mahulan. If the eAPC is encrypted for the individual to open with a password, how will an employer or other stakeholder download the document from the e-registrar? The second one is, did you get that?
You want to read 5 or you want to? Okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to respond to this one.
Oh, okay.
No, I think I take it that the question is being asked after the input by I think it's Prof from Venda, Dr. Prof from Venda, who was saying maybe to strengthen it more, we can put a pin And because currently we are using the NES identity number or the SENC number. So the employer is able to actually verify. Whoever the person is coming to is able to verify using those. And I think even with the other professions, you use the ID number of the person, then you are able to verify whether they are a real professional or not. Maybe that's how I would answer that.
Thank you, Chair. The second one says, do we have a website?
Sorry. I didn't quite understand. Can you just explain it again, please? How will the other stakeholders download?
Okay, how it's working now and how it's going to work in the future. To verify, you are going to put the person's SENC number, registration number, the one that I got when I qualified as a nurse. I think it's my SENC ref number, or we are going to put the ID number. I think it still stands, but as we were discussing, there was a proposal that why don't we put in a PIN code, which is going to be personal. And I'm saying maybe the reason why that if we were to consider that it's not going to be feasible, because then it will block the employer or any other person to be able to verify. Because once you give your personalized PIN number, it means it's only you who can open. But currently, how we are putting it to allow the prospective employer to be able to verify by putting your ID number or the ref number that we are giving them. That's what I was explaining. It's not going to change. We need to maintain it in that manner for verification purposes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I understand now. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chair. The next one, do we have a website where we can update our email addresses? I think Mr. Makulane did speak to this earlier on. And the next one says, can the professionals use their own private emails if they choose to, or it is mandatory to use the official emails? I think the CFO did speak. Maybe they can just under a minute sort of respond to this one again. The next one says, if the nurse, no, I've read that one. If the nurse register additional qualifications during the course of the year, will the APC be updated and resent, or will the APC only be updated the following year? Thank you. I think Mr. Mangani and the CFO can address this one. The last one that we are taking here, usually our fees are deducted from PESAL once per year in November. Are you going to send it individually to each staff member or via our People Development Office? That was the question. Will the employer be able to download group eAPCs? I think we'll take it up to there and then request the colleagues to respond to this one. Some are just repetitions of what you did explain to earlier. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair, if I may, through you.
Go ahead, CFO.
Do we have a website where we can update our email addresses? I think I am also with our revenue collections manager. Let me allow him to also just give the process in terms of updating the email addresses. Thank you, Chair.
Then Mr. Makulane will follow.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Ben Mangani. I'm the Revenue Collection and Sales Manager. As the CFO has mentioned, there is an online form on our website, which practitioners can use to update their contact details, including their email addresses. So this online form, you then go to our website. On our homepage, you go to downloadable forms. Under downloadable forms, you'll find a form titled Update Contact Details Form, which is an online form. And that when you access that form, then it will then request you details that you want to update. But the most important part is to also include your SUNC number, your ID number, your name, and your titles, so that we know who's updating, and so that also the information that we are updating is we are updating for the right person. So that is the process of updating your details on our website. Thank you.
Dr. Mswede?
Yeah, Mr. Manganyi will respond to the next one, Chair.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. I'll also speak about the group APCs. There's a question that is it possible for the employers to then do a download of group APC? Unfortunately, that facility we don't have right now. Currently, we are going to send the individual APCs to the individual emails of the nurses themselves. So the employers, when they pay in bulk, they will then be issued with a report immediately after paying, and then we have issued APCs. There's a report that we sent to employers, those who are using PERSAL and the bigger groups, they will know this report. It's a report that we send each and every year. It has the details of each nurse. It will also have the details of APC number of each nurse. So if you want to then upload, or you have to update your records as to which nurse is registered, which nurse has an APC, that report will assist you rather than having a printed APC. So in the current dispensation in this system, we don't have that facility to download group eAPCs. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to respond to the question regarding the employer being able to download the APC on behalf of the employee. I think my colleagues have covered that, but I just want to say that since it will be encrypted, we are strengthening the security relating to access to this APC. But employers will still be able to verify if a nurse is registered on the e-register, and that can be done by going through into the e-register and verify that. Second to that, the APC comes with the QR code. So once you scan that QR code, it will take you to the e-register, which will confirm if a nurse is registered or not. So that's how it will work. Private email and public email addresses use. Like we indicated earlier, to say that we are looking at bringing in another method of accessing the electronic APCs in the form of SMSs, and this will be communicated to nurses very soon once we have implemented it and it's working properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think those are, and I'm looking at what time do we still have? Is it 15 minutes? It's almost 11 o'clock. What time is tea break? No. Chairperson, I think we can go for tea break as per the program, or let me safely say, can I hand it over back to you so that we can determine the times, considering the items that are remaining. But we still have, I think, a few questions on the charts, and also a few hands that are raised, but some of the questions are a repetition of what has been already responded to. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mswede. May I request that we take a short break for tea? This is a virtual platform. I think 15 minutes should suffice, and let's call it 120 minutes. But if you can be back by 11:15, it will make our program run late by only 5 minutes. So can I request that we are back at 11:15? Can you grab a cup of tea? Think about the next presentation, and all the hands that are still up, please keep your questions. We are going to have another discussion before we close. Thank you, colleagues. We are adjourning for tea for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah.
We can account for R4A. But the occupation, it was supposed to be under 212, but it was in occupation, it wasn't.
Is it klaar? Dit is nou maar, hier zijn nog niks soundie.
Nee, liefie, hulle is nou op tee, hoor.
Maar ons hoor jou, Melody.
Just like when you mute all of them, you also mute us. Even the speaker. Yes, definitely. How long the session is it? No, the CFO is going to be the last speaker. We should be finished by 1. City conference to answer it's a big step. Yeah, it's a big milestone. It's a big milestone. The backlash. We are responding. There's always going to be backlash. No, sometimes the backlash assists so that we think out of the box. Sina comfortable normal strong this thing. Always be on your toes. Yeah, no, it should have been done long time ago. As long as we are doing something about it. Quick one, I'm not sure if I had something like this easy. I will still want to be doing the physical ones, the APC one. I think the normal one. The request. As an request. Because remember, those APCs, the paper, you need to buy it, council needs to buy it, which has got cost implications. So, unless it's so mobile, because you need to compare and you can go. And I think the board of health people that you may need from laws to deal with your security. Because I don't think if when I make popular fight, if they are concerned that the one maybe yeah, should go into the e-register and get what they are looking for. Yeah, but no, who's that? Mine. It's just surprising. Yeah. You should well and then the timing is going to come out 5 minutes before to show them the file so that they can come back. Reggie just reminding me about the timer after when it's almost 1/4 to play down, count down the time. 1/4. It's resuming 1/4. It's fine, but I think, but you don't think that it is. I think that is the latest benefit because for us, we are not a mess of media. But just whether, because I appear now as a mine is okay. Maybe put it in a way that way, whereas I wanted to say, I wanted to show that encouraging It's the other colleagues, not here. Teams is the one who needs volunteers. Who teams? Yeah, it is teams. Teams.
So what do we do? Do we start with the presentation now? No, we put them into the questions because it's the questions going forward.
Hello, colleagues. Oh, thank you. Dr. Mswede, can you take the remaining hands so that we can move on to the next item, please? Welcome back, colleagues. I'm seeing Mr. Ruben's hands, Lipele, Shokwana.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Chair.
But you can run the question session as previously.
Thank you, Chairperson. We are going to take 5. I'll
Thank you.
give this opportunity to Lepelle Lihlokwane, I think it's from Gauteng province. Over to you.
Yes, good morning and thanks for the opportunity. I am from Gauteng Health and I am talking from the view of the administrators of the Resolution 3 of 2019.
You are breaking, sir. I'm not sure if it's the network glitches or what. If you can start again.
Okay.
Thank you. Before you start, sir, just to ask colleagues again, please mute yourself when you've got other business around you so that you can focus on the speaker that is on the platform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope I'm coming out clearly now.
It's much better, thanks.
Yes, because I'm hearing you perfectly. So I was saying I'm talking from the implementers of the Resolution 3 of 2019, the statutory deductions. I was wondering, after all is said about the email addresses, I was wondering if we may be assisted maybe by the council to maybe pre-populate for us the email addresses that are there already so that we can maybe have a speedier process from our side. We have over 30,000, 31,000 nurses in the department. So if it's okay and it can be pre-populated, then we would have a speedier process to verify the email addresses. More so those that are those nurses who want to use the departmental addresses. We have the format, we know the format. We can, assist in expediting the whole process. Thank you.
Your question is noted, Chair, sir. Then the second one, I think it's Tembiso Nkosi.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. No, thank you for the presentation and thank you for all the information. But I want to seek just one or two clarity. I have had emphasizing the system will be accessible to the employer. If you are saying the employer, I think you are referring to a specific component at the level of HR. Maybe those are the people who are normally receiving this thing. I'm not sure who are you referring, because some of us here at the level of we are at the level of management, and I wonder whether that information being shared to us, will HR also be able to, you have already shared with HR so they have them already, so they won't see it as a burden if necessary for us to, as a manager to say you need to have an APC for you to practice. Now HR must be sensitized far in advance to say, now HR going forward, if you are referring to HR as an employer, this is what is going to be happening going forward. Secondly, I want to check the point of a person who is unemployed. If now this duty is delegated to HR, I am a nurse, but I'm not employed, and maybe if I'm restricted to print this APC on the system, what is it that is there for me that I will produce as in my application for various healthcare facilities if I'm seeking for work, if only the employers would be given an access to print, if it's not flexible at the level of email or at the level of the system whereby we just press button and print your APC. I wanted to check those two. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Can we get the third one? We are taking, in the meantime, we can give Mr. Klute. It's written Klute. This is the third one.
Okay. Hello. I just want to give some suggestions. I think this whole system seems to be very inefficient and it seems to be giving SANC a lot of work where we have to download forms and then fill it in and then SANC has to update it. Is it maybe possible to implement a restricted profile management system? Maybe where us as the end users are able to maybe update things like our personal information just via this profile manager, like our contact information and our addresses. Meanwhile, certain things are restricted, maybe verifiable information on the profile can only be updated by a SANC employees, like our employment status and our qualifications and those things. Is it possible to maybe implement such a system?
Thank you. Thank you. Your question is noted. I'm gonna give. There were two colleagues that raised their hands previously. Xolani Ndlovu, if that person is still connected, I'll give them an opportunity to raise their question. And Aneli Meireng, they did raise their hands before we went to tea break.
Yes, it's Mr. Ndlovu. He's still here. Thank you.
Go ahead with your question or comment.
Okay, it's Mr. Ndlovu from KZN. I wanted to check how possible is it for the e-register to give a retrospective data of APC, because we've got cases where maybe a nurse needs to be back paid a certain amount. Maybe that happened in 2021, and then the HR department will come to a nursing manager to confirm that this person was a fully paid member in that particular year. Then you find that we no longer having records of that year, what happened in that year. Unfortunately, with the e-register, you are unable to go back and see if in 2021, I'm just making an example, in 2021 that the person was a fully paid member. So now that we are upgrading the system, is it possible maybe to have that feature so that you can be able to get some retrospective data in terms of APCs? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ndlovu. Annie, are you still there? It's Annelie still connected, Annelie Meireng. If not, then I'll hand over to my colleagues to respond.
Sorry, Chairperson. It's Mr. Ruben Molete here. I raised my hand in the previous session, including now. Those that I've raised, but I seem not to be recognized. I don't know what.
Oh, apologies, sir. You can raise your question.
Okay, no, thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, my name is Ruben Molete. I'm the Provincial Secretary of DINOSA in the Northwest. Look, number one, Chairperson, we must commend the SANC for this process. And we take comfortability on the basis that we are having a trial and error of at least up until next year, July. Which then says, I know the SANC would be flexible, depending on the trial and error, whether to make it a full-blown process or have any amendments. I know there's that cushion, and one would sleep peaceful if there's that provision. But coming into this Kruger National Park elephant, which is the emails, and taking into consideration that already now the system is started. It means, and we're talking about a delivery move. We're not talking registration. Now that we are going to implement,
and we have got this cohort that does not have emails. My first question is that, are we saying we are not going to deliver for them, and we are not having any effort to deliver for them, which intertwines with the second one to say, yes, Mr. Mokoena, we are going to do our bit ourselves. We are going to cascade this information to our members. We are going to ask them, please assist them, assist the SANC with updating their information and the likes. But I'm saying this because the SANC already has got a database of these people. They know who did not provide their emails. Now, my second question is that, what are the efforts insofar as SANC is concerned into making sure that they make these people aware that we have got this situation over and above ourselves as stakeholders, that we are going to be assisting the SANC to preach this gospel. Now, we are of the view that the SANC has also the responsibility to locate this individual and assist them into providing this information, because we have an appreciation that we come from different revolutions, but we want not to be left out by the fourth industrial revolutions, which I think the SANC must then also assist in this process. Thanks very much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Sir. I think I'll then give over to my colleagues to respond to the questions raised. CFO will be assisted by Chairperson.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No. It's fine. You are doing well. I wanted to, before the experts in the field respond, to sort of just speak to the last speaker's questions.
Thank you.
I'm saying so because the last speaker is a very key stakeholder. I mean, like everyone else in this platform where we are. That because I think it's without any dispute that DINOSA is the one that is got more of our nurses affiliated with. So what I wanted to first highlight to the speaker is, one, the issue of the delivery mode that he's speaking to and the cohort of nurses without emails. First of all, how it's happening now is that nurses pay an extra fee to get a courier to deliver these eAPCs to them. And for me, this is a bit unfair then on the nurses if there will be any cheaper mode of them just clicking a button and getting this information without paying their courier fees. I'm told about 700 and something. It's quite a lot of money you can buy. I mean, something about using that money. So I think that one, I would really request my colleague from DINOSA to say, if also on their side, as he's asking what is SANC going to do to reach that cohort, maybe also on their side for DINOSA to try and highlight to the nurses that the benefits of using an email will be that you are going to be able to receive your APC without having to pay any extra fee like what is happening now. Because previously it was the post office which stopped working. Then secondly, nurses resorted to issues of the couriers that were actually being paid. The nurses pay an extra from whatever they're paying for the annual registration. So my request to the colleague again is that let us work together. But I do also understand that you've already said that the stakeholder today we've got a duty, everyone who's here, to go out there and ensure that any nurse that they are connected to has updated their information in terms of the emails. And those nurses that belong to the unions can also work with us to assist them to create the emails. I think the CFO has requested that. But also, I also appreciate that in his question, he seemed to be saying, are we doing more to make sure, besides this stakeholder forum that we're having today, to make sure that all nurses are aware of the fact that they need to update their information? And this is a question that I also did ask, and I was assured. I think our IT specialists will actually repeat this, that there are efforts that have been made to try and market this new change in receiving the APC. So from to the Genosa, my request is that please, colleagues, let us try and save and assist to understand that they will be saving money by ensuring that they update their emails to receive these APCs in the manner that we are trying to bring to them. Thank you, but I'm sure my other colleagues are going to add. I just didn't want to miss the issue of actually speaking directly to Genosa as the main organization with most of our nurses, which most of us belong to say we can work together to help the nurses reduce the burden of having to pay an extra to receive a paper APC. Thank you. They can, and then the experts can actually answer the questions. Dr. Mswele.
Thank you, Chairperson. Then I'll hand over to the CFO, assisted by Mr. Manganyi, and then Mr. Mahulani can also come in. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Muswede. Chair, I will start with the question from Mr. Letlokwana with regards to email addresses specifically. There was a request for us to assist in terms of pre-populating from our database in terms of the records that we have. I think our processes when we do the deductions and collections of the bulk payments, we would have a template that we send out to the employers, which basically gives a list of all employee or all practitioners and the amounts to be deducted. So I think in heeding to the request from Mr. Letlokwana is to say, indeed, our list does not have a field for email addresses. So I think on our side, we commit to including fields where we can put the email addresses that we have on our database. I think us doing that, then it would make it easier for yourselves in order to look at what data is there and then take it from there. So I think we definitely do commit to updating that template, especially now since the APC period is open. So we will definitely do that. Chair, there's also a question from Mr. Nkosi around accessibility of the system to the employer, but also noting that it's more HR related. And I think with this question, Chair, it's maybe just to put an analogy in terms of collections. If maybe I could draw the example of a SARS, because essentially it's similar to that, the model that we are using. So SARS would basically collect taxes, but from an organizational point of view, then HR would be best placed in terms of calculating the numbers, calculating the amount of taxes, but also doing the admin. So I think we do appreciate that there may be a disjuncture between HR and management, but I think for us, we adopting that same model to say, with collections of employees, HR would be best placed in order to assist with the.
How can that assist? Chair, as well, I think with this particular one is to note that, as I previously indicated, that at the end of the day, the onus is on the employee or on the practitioner themselves in order to update their details and the like. So I think, Chair, with our commitment as well to pre-populating this template, I think we internally will also do our own assessment in terms of what are the records that we don't have any email
addresses in at all. So whether that person is employed or not, I think internally we also have a duty or responsibility to assist. So for the unemployed people, I think we definitely will do an assessment internally on our side. Chair, there's a question from Mr. Klute as well. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. The concern there is around the work, extra work, if I may call it that, to download forms as in order to update the email addresses. And the recommendation was for us to possibly implement a system which will be more efficient. I think with this particular question, our commitment in terms of updating the template, I think that also addresses the concern in terms of this information will be disseminated where there's email addresses. If the employer can update that template and send it to us, then all the admin then will be done on our side, so that the employer is not burdened with the extra work. So I think this also addresses that particular concern. Let me take the question from Dinosa, as chairperson has correctly indicated, is that it's a critical and key stakeholder. And the chairperson has addressed the concerns there. I'd just like to go into a bit of more detail in terms of what is the SANG doing currently and what is the SANG's responsibility. Because I think we do agree that we have an equal responsibility in terms of this task. So maybe just to give an update to say, I think as soon as the resolution was taken by council in order to implement, there were other parts of resolutions that council mandated us to do, which is number one, we need buy-in from stakeholders, but we need a marketing campaign. We need active engagement with stakeholders. So ever since that resolution, we have embarked on a few initiatives. Recently, we had a meeting or a forum such as this one with the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council. So this is from obviously a union perspective to say, let us engage with the unions, and the same presentations, the same strategies, the same procedures we presented in an effort to open up the engagement. So those have been done already. But as well, in terms of the SANC responsibilities, that internally we have thought of other avenues. For instance, when we open the APC payments, but not only the APC payments, but whenever stakeholders come in, these are now the practitioners into our premises, the first thing that are asked to do at the door is to update their personal details, such that we have more recent information. So I think over and above this particular forum, over and above all the, let me say, social media campaigns, internally we are implementing other strategies so that we make sure that we have latest records on our database. So equally so, there's an equal responsibility. I think we are implementing those. As well, from a marketing perspective, we have bulk SMSs that we have sent out to our stakeholders, so that personally on their cell phones they have received communication around this. On our website, there's information available around these issues and the need to update, but also circulars as well have been sent out. So I think in that, to close, is to say the SANC internally has done a lot of work around it, and we definitely appreciate a collaboration and assistance, but we are always open to, as always, we are open to engaging and working together. Chair, there's another question around retrospective data on the APC. Let me pause and give it to Mr. Mangani,
or
or rather
Mr.
Mr.
Makholane
Makholane from IT. It's an IT question. Apologies, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to, as I speak, I'm going to request my colleague to project some of the things I'll be talking to. And the first one that I wanted to talk to is the QR code on the APC. There was a question relating to verification or access to the e-register to confirm if a nurse is registered or not. So when a nurse present an employer with this APC,
Sorry, Mr. Makholane.
Yes.
And sorry, Dr. Mswede. I really appreciate that you want to take us to the verification, and which I want you to do it, but I just want us to follow our own agenda. We are supposed to move to that now, but I just want to check whether have we dealt with all the questions from the previous session. Then we can jump over to the e-register verification tool, which is quite critical that you want to present. I'm still seeing hands that are appearing here, so I thought maybe we could just finalize on the hands. Then your important input on the topic of verification will come in. If you don't mind me disturbing you for now, just to pause a bit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson. May I request, because there was a question on retrospective data that can be accessed, which is a feature that we don't have now. If you can just respond to that, not going into the details of the verification. If you can just touch on that, Mr. Makholane, and then we can go to the next item.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, indeed. But it's something that we are looking at. Like I earlier indicated to say that since this is a pilot project, we'll be introducing different capabilities as we go, just to improve this functionality and ensure that it speaks to the needs of our stakeholders. There was a question regarding the use of private or public, employers' email addresses. Chair, I think employees will have to use their private email addresses for this reason. If they happen to leave their current employer, communication will still be sent to that email address, and they will not be able to access it. So we strongly request that they use their private emails, because they can have access to it at any given point in time without having to use the devices of the employer to access their communication that will have communicated to them. Then the second part of there's a question regarding verification. I'll skip it. Printing of APC. So, Chair, introduction of electronic APC is solely to do away with papers, Chair. And the second part of it is because we are bringing in the verification capabilities that the employer, either being in HR or any other department in the organization, they will then be able to verify with the QR code or on our e-register. The updating of personal details, we do have, I'll request my colleague to just flag it. The form that is on the website, it's electronic. So once you update your details there, we get it internally. We validate, verify your details, and your details will then be captured as such. There was a question regarding those without emails. So, like I indicated earlier, to say that as we are introducing this electronic APC, we are looking at other methods of ensuring that the stakeholders are able to receive the electronic APC. And like I indicated, the use of bulk SMSs, it's going to be introduced. and this will cover a broader community of nurses, because most colleagues do have cell phones or smartphones that they will be able to access the electronic APC. We'll also embed the security measures into it, so that if you are to access it, there's a link that will be attached to the email, and you'll be required to verify, validate that using the security capability that will communicate with you on the SMS that you will receive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahulani. Chairperson, through you, may I then take the two hands that I see on the platform, and then we, after the responses for these two hands, then we can go to the next item. Is that in order, Chairperson?
It is in order, Dr. Mswede, you can go ahead.
I see two hands. I see Mr. Fiso Shandu, and I see Puti Manavile. Over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good afternoon, good morning, colleagues. Thanks for the great presentation. For mine is my comment. My name is Fiso. I'm the chairperson of the Finance Committee, and I needed to echo the comments of the CFO earlier on. Colleagues, this is it seems like there is no turning back, and I think the chairperson indicated the same, to the fact that we are modernizing SANC, and that is what is sitting at the center of it, which then together with that, we are requesting every individual that managed to attend this call to be an ambassador to inform and to communicate to the colleagues in the industry that, number one, to share and to update your email address. That is going to be very important. I think so far we've got about 180 post offices that have closed. The reports were saying 235 of them, which means that it becomes impractical for SANC as an organization to communicate with its constituents if we do not have your email addresses. So colleagues, we really appeal that, number one, you update your email addresses on that form, and number two, you communicate. I think Mr. Maholani indicated that as the system goes on, it's developmental in its nature and it's user-centric, which means you colleagues, as the users of the system, you need to indicate and point us out where there's some functionalities that needs to take place. The functionalities that, for example, the retrospective information that was cited earlier on in KZN, for an example, whether I think the chairperson cited the fact that whether it can indicate whether the midwife or a nurse is a practicing nurse or not, and it's gonna take time. But we can only do that so that it serves you. So I think my comment is more to try and appeal, because it saves in a lot of ways. We've come a long way from having queues down at SANC every year to where we got bulk payments, but now where we are at the moment, it's almost the time that we are in, it's forcing us to actually modernize and to try to make sure that we update our emails and we communicate with SANC as much as possible. We as an organization, we're trying to listen as much as possible in trying to assist you through this process. But the last one, Chair, I just wanna appeal again the fact that the security of information, colleagues, must be very important to you, that you do not share your passwords. You know exactly who's got access to it, so that we make sure that we don't end up communicating with wrong people, or wrong people get access to your data, as we work internally to try and secure that data, chairperson. But I just want to appreciate again the colleagues that actually joined this morning. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Chair. Back to you.
Thank you to the chairperson of FinCo. We really appreciate your presence on the platform as well and your contribution. Puti Manabile will be the last one to ask a question or to comment, then we'll go to the next item. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is I don't know what to call it, a disparity between the cycles that we use because the practice cycle is from January to the 31st of December. And our departments, they use financial year, which start from April to March of the following year. Now, what happens is that the deductions of the APCs are done maybe I'll give it November this year. And there is a person who is retiring in April the following year or May the following year. Now, what happens is that the department do not deduct the money for the APC for that person because according to them, this person will be retiring in in a new financial year. So I'm not sure how that can be solved because people find themselves not being registered, but they've been practicing those years, those months before they exit the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can I hand it over to you, CFO? And Mr. Mangani. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Also, just to express gratitude to the Chair of FINCO. Thank you very much. In response to Ms. Puti Manabile, so our internal, we do take note that the APC period is based on an academic year, which is January to December. And most of the departments, even ourselves at the SANC, we operate on a financial year from April to March. Now, I think in having to implement internally how we do things is that with regards to our employer bulk payments, those lists are done normally around October. Also, just to give sufficient time before the deadline of December. Now, in that, obviously, on our side, we cut off in terms of whatever we've received end of December, legally from a nursing perspective. If we have not received anything, which means that it will be deemed that or that person would need to be removed from the registrar. That's just administratively how it works. But in terms of the financial year, I think we do work around it from an accounting perspective. Speaking on the issue of retiring people, for instance, the example that was mentioned was if, let's say, October or November, there is a list and the employers are aware that a person is retiring and they do not deduct monies for that person. I think our advice from the SANC would be to engage with that particular person as opposed to not deducting for that person. I think the reason where I'm sitting is that I think it should be the prerogative of that particular person because although some have retired, they would still want to be registered. And if that is the case, then I think the employers can still deduct on their behalf. So I think that should be given to be the prerogative of the practitioner themselves. And it addresses the risk of what Ms. Manabile has said, that they find themselves not registered and which will not be according to their will. So that would definitely be our advice, is to engage with those particular people as opposed to automatically not deducting on their behalf. Remember as well, from a legal nursing perspective, they may also apply to be removed from the registrar voluntarily, which is a cheaper option. So I think that would be higher level our response or advice in terms of that. Let me pause to maybe give either registrar or or Mr. Mangani, if they have anything.
Thank you, CFO. Maybe just to add on the issue of retiring nurses. Normally, what would happen if you were to retire somewhere during the practicing year or the academic year? For the months that you are practicing, you will still have to pay your annual fees. So, and as long as that that nurse or that employee is still employed with the department, it is expected that, according to Resolution 3 of 2019 of the Bargaining Council, that person is still need to be deducted the monies for annual fee next year, unless if they were retiring before the beginning of the new practicing year, which is the 1st of January next year. Then in that case, the employer doesn't have the mandatory obligation to deduct. But as long as they are going to practice from January, even January to April, that the employer will have to deduct, unless then the employee has a different mandate that they give the employer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mangani. I think we have exhausted the questions emanating from the earlier presentations, Chairperson. Can I then hand over to you so that you can direct further, Ms. Kaseke?
Thank you, Dr. Mswede. Thank you, colleagues, for participating with the questions that have been asked. The questions that have been asked are actually helpful to us as the Committee of Laws, Standards and Practice. Some of these questions I do know that as they're being asked in my mind, I'm looking at them and seeing that we cannot have a full answer today, but we may be taking them, we may have, to take them back to the full council after deliberating on them as a committee to also assist. Especially the last one that speaks to the issue of payment of someone who is probably going to be left with a month, whether we are going to be, as council is going to be looking into the issues of pro rata payments or what. I think these are things that I'm happy that they are raised here today, so that in future we do not have nurses who are working without having registered for that particular year because they are actually going to be retiring 2 months into the new financial year, and the bulk payment system has decided that they are not going to pay for them. I do think this needs further engagement from this platform, and thank you so much for raising it and making us aware of that, because personally I wasn't aware of that. Personally, all I knew about that every nurse who's touching a patient, whether for 1 day, whether for 1 hour, whether for 1 minute, should be a nurse that is actually registered with the South African Nursing Council, a nurse that is being monitored through the system that Nursing Council has put in place, that they're practicing in terms of their scope of practice. Thank you, colleagues, for raising these questions. I think the other question that, and I was hoping that was going to be raised by colleagues as we were speaking about the issue of challenges with emails, was that because I've heard someone asking me this question outside the meeting, and it also sort of resonated with me. I've got a mother who was a nurse who is retired, who may still be wanting to continue payment, and because of the age that she is in, she says, can you, my daughter, use your email for me to receive the correspondence from council? I was hoping that colleagues were going to probably ask from our IT whether that is something that can be allowed for those that says they are in two rural areas, but they've got a child that they can rely on, receive the information from. But I'm not opening it up now. I'm just saying these are the questions that I thought someone was going to ask. Because it has not been asked, I do believe that then it's not something that I can labor our IT and finance to be responding to. I am then going to ask that we move to the next part of our program, colleagues, which is, let me check our program, which is the e-register, using the e-register as a verification tool. It has been put to the CFO. I know that the CFO is going to be sharing this platform with Mr. Makolane, the ICT manager in explaining how the verification can be done. But I'm sure most of this has been actually hinted to. They're just going to go into details, hoping that then colleagues are going to be able to ask questions arising from their presentations. Thank you, Mr. CFO. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, through you, I think I will present the finance part, and then maybe Mr. Magolane can come in with more IT aspects that have not been covered. But Chair, I think you are right in stating that through the questions, I think we've covered most of this particular presentation. But maybe let me go back to the slide before the actual APC, just to again reiterate what we've been saying today, that the electronic APC will have this particular wording. As an employer or prospective employer, you must verify the details shown using the South African Nursing Council e-register. I think why I'm reiterating it again, Chair, is to indicate that indeed there has been questions. I think this scheme was mentioned, but not to single out employers, but many other employers sometimes they refuse to maybe take the printed versions, or yeah. So I think for us is to say that this is an important part which will definitely mitigate any risks of those printed APCs. So this electronic APC, we urge the employers to verify these details. The e-registrar is populated and is up to date in terms of our database. So those procedures we cannot emphasize enough around the verification thereof on the e-register. I think even with the absence of a printed version, whatever form of APC they get, whether it's the electronic or printed, this verification we cannot emphasize enough. Again, it was also covered, Chair, that the QR code that has been added when scanned, this is the critical information that will be received, that employers can verify, or other stakeholders, not only employers. The address of the e-register, the nurse's reference number, meaning the SANC number, the nurse's ID number, and then the APC number. So I think Mr. Magolane as well has committed to say we definitely are engaging on where we can improve, such as the issue of retrospective data and the likes. So at the moment, this is the current status with other information as well. Chair, moving on to the legal matters. If we move to the next 3 slides. Chair, I'll just summarize the legal without me purporting to be a legal person, but the chairperson will also correct me where I've erred from a legal perspective. So I think regarding the e-register, I think we'd want to reiterate or iterate Section 36(1) of the Nursing Act. It says a copy of the last published issue of a register or any supplementary list purporting to be printed and published in terms of Section 35 is on the face of it proof of the facts recorded in all legal proceedings, and the absence of the name of any person from such copies proof, unless there is credible evidence to the contrary, that such a person is not registered in terms of this act, but that in the case of any person whose name does not appear in such copy, or whose name has been added to the register after the date of the last published issue thereof, a certified copy under the hand of the registrar of the entry of the name of such person in the register is proof that such person is registered under the provisions of this act. Chair, I think what I would like to go back, apologies, what I'd like to emphasize here is that, in fact, the e-register is sufficient proof in all legal proceedings. So it's re-emphasizing to employers, to stakeholders, to labor, why we are emphasizing the use of the e-register. And we are also trying to move away from various stakeholders who still request for those printed APCs. So I think this is for us to reiterate that the e-register has a legal standing, if I may word it like that. Moving on to the next slide. This is the second part. Number B says, has been removed from the register since the date of the last published issue thereof and has not been restored thereto. A certificate under the hand of the register that the name of such person has been removed from the register is proof that such person is not registered in terms of this act. Chair, the last aspect speaks to what I've spoken to. Employers are therefore encouraged to use and accept the SANC e-register. Chairperson has indicated that we as the SANC has got a lot of work to do in terms of communicating to our employers, to our stakeholders, those that are still refusing in order to accept the e-register. So this is again saying that we will do the groundwork in order to get the buy-in for our stakeholders to accept the e-register as proof of registration. Chair, coming over to the email addresses, which we've also covered at detail. Again, is to request employers to assist us with the email addresses. But Chair, I want to pause here and just read out one important aspect of the Nursing Act, which I think when I was responding to questions, I wanted to read it out, but I couldn't find it. But I managed to find that particular clause. So, Chair, Section 44(1)(d) of the Nursing Act talks about removals from the register. So I want to read it out specifically. It says the council may instruct the registrar to remove from the register the name of any practitioner. And then D says, who has failed to notify the registrar of any change in residential and postal address or the address of his or her practice within 6 months after such change. So I think it was necessary for me to read this just to indicate that it is indeed a legal requirement and consequences may be removal from the register. But obviously as a council and as a collaborative partner towards our stakeholders, this provision is almost as a last resort, hence our initiative or our work towards ensuring that we have updated details. So it is a legal requirement, in fact. And again, it's just to reiterate and to re-ask our stakeholders to assist us in order to updating these emails. We have made certain commitments in this forum. Our template, we will update it so that we work together in ensuring that we've got the latest information for all our stakeholders. But more importantly, so that this electronic or the pilot phase as well as full implementation goes smoothly so that you don't experience any hiccups. Chair, this comes to the end of my presentation with regards to verification. I will hand over to Mr. Makholane for the IT aspects, which may have not been covered.
Thank you, Mr. Makholane. If there's any aspects that we have not covered.
Thank you, Chair. I think the CFO managed to The CFO managed to cover all the aspects, but I just want to, as he was presenting, there were a few questions that were brought to my attention. That's in relation to student certificate. I just want to indicate that this process will only cover the APC, electronic APC, and it doesn't include student certificate. The other comment that was made or question was in relation to the security by ensuring that we have the OTP or second layer of securing the APC. Indeed, Chair, we are looking at that. For now, we implemented a security whereby only NS will use their what we call the primary key to open the APC or to access the APC. And that primary key will be communicated in the SMS or the email that will be sent to them. Thank you, Chair. The CFO has covered the matter relating to how you can verify. There are two ways here. There's a link that is provided on our website, the e-register link. If you look at what has been projected now, this is how it will look like. If you can just go to the previous slide, please. So if you go to www, the link, the e-register link. Next slide. Yes. So if you go to www.sync.co.za/e-register.aspx, this is where you'll be able to access the e-register. And when you want to then verify if an asset's registered with the SYNC, you'll then be able to verify here as an employer. And then the second part of it, it's in terms of the ER code. If you can go back to the ER code, this capability will be used through a cell phone, smartphone, the phone that has the capability of capturing a picture. And once you scan this QR code, it will then take you to the e-register and you'll then be able to follow the next steps to verify NS. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mafalane. Thank you for the presentation. And it looks like from our program, this was the last item on the program. Before I open for discussion, I've just been made aware that when we're doing introductions, there's a stakeholder that is present that we did not give time for them to introduce themselves. And this is the SANDF. May I please request the person who's here on behalf of the SANDF, the health sector or the health division to actually introduce themselves to the forum. Thank you. SANDF health.
Is it Sam's chairperson?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My apologies, colleagues. I was just made aware that they are here and they were not recognized earlier on. And again, I still repeat my apologies. It was not meant to be like that. I'm seeing a hand from Rivona Pansdale. Are you helping us?
Yes, good day, Chairperson. I'm Ravona van Zyl, representing SAMS. I don't know if there was another representative, but I see there was no response. So thank you very much for your presentation and inviting us to this meeting. We really appreciate it to be part of this forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your presence in honoring invitation. Colleagues, I am then going to take it that the presentations and the purpose of us meeting today has been achieved from our side, which was to engage the profession, lesson profession from the different levels on what we were introducing as SANC. And I'm opening again for questions that may still be lingering on colleagues' minds. And I am happy that at least we are within the time that we had set for this meeting. We can engage more to clarify those questions that, since you are here representing other people, they may get back to where you are and ask you. If they have not sent you questions to ask in relation to this, but you do have questions, please ask the questions. They are helping us a lot to strengthen what we have started and to see what needs to follow to strengthen the system that we have introduced as SANC. Thank you. Dr. Mswede, I can take the hands again for any questions of clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I was made aware that actually on the sample APC that was shared, colleagues can actually scan the QR code just to test that it does work. And then even though it's a test, so it's just an example of the reality that we are going to and which we are excited as the profession, because I'm primarily a nurse before I become a council employee. I'm still a nurse who is also proud to be a nurse. So they can scan just to test as we look into the questions. I see people are okaying to show that it is really working. Those that have already tested it. And thank you for the feedback. It is really appreciated. Now we go to the questions. There were a few that I saw on the chat. Can we? I want to see the hands that are raised. Ms. Muloy, can you please assist? Man. Oh, I see Mepashe's hand. I can't remember whose hand was raised previously. Oh, then we'll start this way. It's gonna be Colonel Angeline van Veengaarden. Over to you, and then it will be followed by Mepashe. And then we can, if we don't have a lot of hands, then we can focus on the few that are on the chats. Thank you, Colonel. Colonel, over to you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I just wanted to indicate that I am present in the meeting. Colonel van Wijngaarden, the principal of SAMS Nursing College. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Much appreciated. Mepashe, over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Mswede, for this opportunity. Mine is just a comment regarding community service practitioners. Isn't it they are not eligible to be issued with an APC? So we had a challenge that when they commence with community service, when they produce the e-register document, the employer, especially on the section A of HR, they don't accept it, but instead they even pay them less than the amount that they should pay them on the contract. And then you find that they will finish their community service, and then with the areas of the having a debt on areas that they were not, because they were paid a half amount. So because the certificate of community practitioners were taking a bit longer, I don't know what was the problem with SANC. But then I'm happy today because you said the e-register has a legal standing. So at least maybe the problem of not being paid in full
will be solved. I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mepashe. And I think even last year, even with the circular 10 of 2024 that we issued, we had indicated and urged all employers to really consider the e-register. So I think that is what you can assist your from because I'm not sure if HR from Limpopo is in the platform. I think that is the message that we need to take as a profession, and also add, take this message to them, because it is us who need to make them understand, or the e-register has got it's a legal document. I think that will alleviate some of the maybe the impasses that we have in reality, in practice. It looks like the prof wants to add something. Can I then allow? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Prof, it's fine. I just need to make sure that the registrar is okay at a given time. I still want to work here. Colleagues, then we go to there are few. I don't see any hands in there. Oh, I don't see them. There is a hand. I see the hand that is written BM. Over to you, BM.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity. So my question might have been answered. I've been on and off due to work related issues. So when it comes to emails, we have registered on the platform our work emails, but some of us will be retiring. Is it possible to have two emails? That is the work email as well as the private email, so that when you exit and they discontinue the work email, we don't battle to get our SANG receipts. That's my question. Thank you.
Noted. Then we'll go to Colonel Angeline again. Is this a legacy hand, ma'am, or it's a new hand? If I can just check. Colonel.
It's a legacy hand. Thank you. Sorry, I will put it down now.
Okay, thank you so much. And then the next, it's Peru Max. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just test my understanding of what you've presented, because there has been many concerns raised with regards to confidentiality and access to information. So I just want to make sure I'm from Solidarity Trade Union for record purposes. So it is my understanding then, from an employer's perspective, when they want to access your SANC, obviously database, they've got access to the e-register. They don't specifically have access to the APC. It will only be the registered professional that would actually have access to their private APC and will be able to print it, or will the employer themselves also have access to the APC? That's what I just want to confirm from a legal perspective. So from my understanding, I would prefer that the employer can access the e-register to confirm a registration, but it's only the registered professional that would be able to print and access their own APC. Thank you.
Your question is noted, but I think you are spot on, say. The employer have gotten access to the e-register, but they don't necessarily have control to the APC, because the APC then will need the individualness to put their password or to put their ID numbers for them to have full view of their certificates. The next one is Nomzamo Valley. Oh, Lindy Wemchali. My apologies. From Osindi Swain.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm asking in regards when there is maybe a suspension, if maybe I was suspended for misconduct, maybe within the year after I have already been registered and issued the APC for the whole year. Is the e-register able to be updated to say I have been suspended for 6 months And so in that 6 months, I'm not allowed to be practicing. Is the e-register updated on monthly basis so that when the implementation of the sanction is being initiated, I will be notified to say my sanction is starting on this month up to this month. And also the employer has an access when they're checking of me if I'm registered in e-register to say that no, in these months I cannot be able to practice since I've been suspended. Is it updated or it's just updated once per year during the implementation in January and then not being updated on monthly basis? Because some sanctions will come maybe in mid-year or June whatsoever. Is the e-register updating? Is South African Nursing Council updating to say this one cannot practice for these 3 months or these 2 months or 6 months, so that the employer cannot keep on making a person practicing while the person in nursing council is suspended?
Thank you for your question. Maybe just to respond on the spot is the fact that yes, the e-register is updated frequently. And if you ask those that have been through the process of regrettably being suspended for one reason or the other, they'll tell you that you can't even access, because then communication would have been sent to the parties that are involved that this is going to happen, and then it's effected on the system. So they will not be able to access. It's updated on a continuous basis. I hope that unless if there's a chairperson on the platform wants to add something, or anybody from the platform, in the absence of any addition, then I'll give Nomza Movali a chance.
Thank you, Chair, for this informative session. I just wanted to ask, because on the e-register itself, there was on there where you can check if your staff member has paid their license to practice. Something that was saying, highlighting that cannot be used as a proof that a person, like the proof, the actual certificate that a person needed to submit. Will that now be changed to say, because I think it's a communication that can go far to reach more people than a word of mouth, that when you go on the e-register itself, you can see that that has now changed, in helping us to spread the word that this is now how we are going, that it is written there as well, that this is a legal document or way of registration now, and people can accept that as registration, because we will have people that still resist to accept this as a new way of doing things. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the question. I'll have to check with the current status, because the plan is to be amended, but I'll have to check with my colleagues if it has been amended. If it is not, it is something that is underway that will receive attention, so that it is consistent with the direction that the council has taken now. Yes. Yeah, it has been amended. I was just waiting for to be advised if for one to go to the e-register. If you can check it now, the information is quite different from what it was previously. Thank you so much. Thank you for the question. It was important, though, to raise that one. I don't see any other hands, but maybe we can come to the questions that are on the chats. Some of them are quite a reputation, but maybe we are accommodating those that might have joined late, that might have joined the meeting late. It reads, my opinion, IDs are captured by various service providers in their health databases, and it can make it easier to access and misuse individual membership. Suggestion: individualized strong PIN code that the user can change as necessary. I hope the CFO the team members are noting. Please check that's the next one. Please check the form to update the personal information. The format of the date is not clear, and one cannot submit if it is not in the correct format. I think that is acknowledged. It will be attended to. I see the team is acknowledging that, the comment. The next one says, does this mean with the introduction of the eAPC form, the option of getting the original APC from the SANC will no longer be permitted? CFO, I hope you're noting that one to respond. And then, are you only able to link one email to an APC? Can the individual not include their private email and employer email? And the next one says, in this, it's a bit long, in this our country, where fraud and criminal activities have skyrocketed, we need to ensure that there is somehow a unique PIN identifier that is specifically assigned for that individual practitioner. Let it be that the individual alone who can download the APC, not let it be that individual alone who can let it be that individual alone who can download the APC, not any other person, the employer included. The individual practitioner will then be able to download it should whenever the proof for such registration is needed. And then the next one, how will student registrations be done? And then the next one, I would like to know how SANC eAPC versus CPD is going to work. Noted, I'll respond to that one. Will student registration certificates still be issued in hard copy or paper format? Dr. Chabalala. Oh, okay. It will help to mobilize information to nurses to update their email addresses as soon as possible, so that when the SANC issues employers with the list, the information is current. Thanks. I think that is what we are doing, and it will be done on a continuous basis. And the one says, thank you very much for agreeing to pre-populate the current, as in SANC database email addresses with the invoicing activity. This will assist us greatly. And the next one, may you also share a notice on social media. We can then share the information. I think that is noted as well. I just did the updating of personal details on the SANC website. It is quick and easy, and you submit online. That is great as well. Must nursing students also update their details? It's a question. Must nursing students, or it's the same one? Can we go? In the meantime, yes, even though they are not yet receiving the annual, it looks like it's a response to the question that was raised above. Colleagues are responding to each other. Chairperson, I would like to know what happened to unpaid courier fees paid in 2025 for outstanding APC paid in 2024 to be delivered. Courier fees were paid, and now this process is unfolding. APC is still outstanding. CFO, did you get that? Good day, Chair. Kindly note that how will we know if we have a credit at SANC to ensure that we are not paying more than we should for the APC, given that there are different amounts for categories of nurses, e.g., reductions for persons over the age of 60 and 65? I think in the and the one says, thank you for such an informative presentation. We found that updating details on the SANC website to be user-friendly. That is, we appreciate that. Okay, I think in the main, those are all the questions. Maybe the CFO can take them, and I think I'll take the alignment of the eAPC and then the CPD last. Thank you, Chair. Over to you, CFO.
Thank you, Chair. So I think the first one on IDs captured by various service providers in their databases and a potential misuse of that information. The suggestion was individualized strong PIN codes that the user can change as necessary. I think, Chair, we have addressed it, but I will reserve that one for Mr. Makholane just to come in. Let me start with the question on does this mean that with the introduction of eAPCs, the original APC will no longer be permitted? So in essence, just to remind the forum that we said as of 1 July 2025, it is indeed a pilot. So we have not discontinued completely the issuing of the what is called the original APCs, or I'm reading this as maybe the printed ones, because in essence, with our moving to electronic APCs, your original will be the electronic that will be sent. So because the pilot, we are still going to have the manual ones, but not for all categories. I think as a suggestion would be, or internal discussions, if I'm allowed to reveal that, those have almost pointed to say possibly where we do not have email addresses, then we can still do the electronic, the printouts. So as indicated, we will communicate further around what is the true meaning of the pilot, but this was just a thought internally for now, subject to decisions still to be made by internally and the council. Moving on to 2026, the resolution of council is to now fully implement in 2026. So depending on the outcomes of the pilot phase, because we are yet to determine what are the glitches, what are the challenges with any shift to any new system, there's always teething problems. So we'll be guided by that pilot phase, and then once we do the full implementation. However, I think in some of our correspondences, the registrar and CEO has indicated that in exceptional circumstances only, will we still move with the printed APCs. So that gives that allowance where there may be areas which were unforeseen, that we did not expect, or which we did not look at. So that's the question on that one. She have also noted around unpaid APCs for 2025. There's a comment that the APCs are still outstanding. Let me pause and give to Mr. Manganyi, the revenue manager, to comment on this one. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, CFO. On the issue of courier paid APCs, and then we find that the APC was not really delivered, I would then it will be impossible for me to answer directly as to what will be the reason. But I would then ask the person who posed the question maybe to contact the nursing, send us an email. I'll leave my email address there on the chat so that you can send that email directly with your SUNC number so that we can check. Many a times we find that a person will pay the courier fee, but they don't update their addresses for delivery. So you'll find that they still have on our records a PO box number, which we are not able to deliver on a PO box number through a courier, because through a courier we need a residential address or a physical address. So that is one of the reasons that sometimes we find that a person would pay the courier fee, but the delivery is not done because we don't have the right details of delivery. Thank you. But in this case, I will then share my email address. Then they can contact me directly. Thank you. All right. I also like to respond on the question of how then will they know if they're not paying, they are paying the correct amounts in cases, especially when you find that there are different. We know that there are different categories, and in different categories there's also different fees because of age. Normally, what we do before a deduction is done from the nurses' salaries by the departments, they send us a list where we verify and provide the amounts that they need to deduct from each nurse. Even if sometimes you would have a nurse who has a credit because of maybe last year they over deducted, we will then consider that over deduction and then give the correct amount that they need to deduct. So in that case, we are able to then not deduct what more than what we are supposed to deduct. We inform the officials in the department to deduct the amounts that are accurate. Thank you.
Mr. Magolane.
Thank you very much. I just want to respond to the question relating to student registration certificate. The answer is yes, we'll still be printing them. The only thing that we are digitizing or that will be electronic for now, it's the eAPCs. There was a question regarding the security part of it. Indeed, when an eAPC is sent to a particular email address, it will be encrypted, and the end user will then be told what password they need to use in order for them to access that electronic eAPC. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Magolane. With regards to the question that relates to alignment of eAPC and the CPD, I just need to indicate that it is very much, there is good alignment there, because colleagues will remember that the CPD cycle begins on the 1st of July to the 30th of June the following year. If I can give an example, if maybe we were already implementing mandatory CPD, and I'm sure colleagues on the platform are aware that we have adopted a phased-in approach. If we were, for the purpose of explaining, we were doing already mandatory. From the 1st of July last year, we started with those that participated as part of the phased-in process, requesting them to engage in a range of CPD activities, which we have been requesting because you need to get your 15 CPD points across the 5 themes of delivery. Then it means by the 30th of June, we would have expected everybody, and also maybe this is a good time to indicate that it is going to be very important that as we start the CPD cycle, nurses engage in CPD activities early during the year and not wait for the following, maybe the last 3 months. Because what is going to happen is if you have, for example, I am Joyce Muswede and have participated in the CPD activities from last year, from the 1st of July up to the 30th of June. Maybe I accrued my CPD points by September or maybe by January this year. They would have already been captured, and I would have already received confirmation that I have accrued my 15 CPD points, and it would have aligned also click, because on the MMS, it is going to click to finance to say this person, these nurse practitioners have accrued their CPD, required CPD points and are eligible for APC renewal. So it means when we start the 1st of July, when we start the AP season, these nurse practitioners matters in relation to CPD compliance are in order and they are eligible to renew their APC. The problem will become if the majority of the profession then will for some reason or the other take time to engage in CPD activities, because then it will not give the office the, for example, if you submit now that I've just done them now, we are the 30th of June. So it means for you, it will take a bit of time for it to be cleared and the quality reviews to be cleared and it to, because it's going to be aligned to finance process to ensure that this person has accrued the required CPD points, 15 CPD points. So yeah, there is good alignment between the eAPC season and the CPD cycle. Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, oh, I see the CFO wants to add something.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just realized we omitted one question, or it was a question from, I think, Mr. or Mrs. Fides Palmer. Are you able to link one email to an APC? Can the individual not include the private email and employer email?
Yeah, if I can respond to that, apologies. We highly recommend that the colleagues in the nursing sector use their private email for ease of mobility. If you happen to leave the organization that you work for now, it shouldn't be a problem for you to then have to engage your former employer to access your APCs. So it will be good if you use your private email address so that you have full access to it at any given point in time. Because if it's an employer email address, you might not have access to it if you're out of office, especially if a nurse is not office based, they might struggle to get access to their employer email addresses. So we recommend that you use your private emails. Like I indicated before earlier today, to say that we are just running some tests in the SMS capability to provide the same service to the nurses. So going forward, you're going to have two channels of receiving the electronic APCs, that being the email address and then the cell phone number. As long as you'll be having a smartphone, and that capability will then be available for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahulane. Chairperson, from what we have in front of us in terms of the hands, there are no hands that are raised, and we seem to have covered the questions that are on the chats, because some of them are just repetition. Can I then hand over back to you for your finalization remarks, concluding remarks, and yeah, I hand over back to you, Chairperson, for you to finalize. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mswede, for the work that you have done on my behalf in terms of taking the questions and following up on attempting to answer all of them. Mr. Maholane, maybe just to clear this from my head, is it possible, does the system allow that a nurse provides two emails for the proof to be sent to? Because I think this will clarify what has been asked. So I've got two emails. Can I provide the two? And if I provide the two, is SENC going to be able to send the correspondence to both emails at the same time, or the system only allows one email? to be utilized, or for correspondence to be sent to. If you can answer me on that one, then I'm going to be able to move on.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to indicate that as much as there are small costs involved in this process, we try by all means that when we send communication, we send it to one email per person. That will then reduce the cost from the science point of view, Chair. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I just wanted that to be clarified before I say my few final words. I'm seeing a hand from Debu Shoki from GP Health. Is there a question that may have been omitted that is just coming to your mind? You're allowed to then raise before I close.
Thank you, Chairperson. My question is on, or concern rather, it's on some of the emails that we receive sometimes go on the junk or spam folder. And also just thinking about that, I also thought of, is it possible that we know that a certain period will be put in place so that we know that we check our certificates around that time, and also verify with our folders that your junk and spam in case one hasn't received? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'm not sure whether the colleagues are able to answer this question now, or something that they're going to be looking into in the future and communicating with the profession. Mr. Makolani, can you assist?
All right, thank you, Chairperson. I'll answer on behalf of Mr. Makholane. If he wants to add something, I'll also. In terms of sending the APC, remember, an APC will be sent to you upon receiving payment of your annual fees. So after paying your annual fees, if within a week, during that week, you are expecting to receive your APC, then you can check your emails. If you don't receive it within a week, then you make a follow-up with us, because it will then depend on when you pay your annual fees. Some people pay earlier, some people pay later, so it depends on that. So you will only get your APCs once an annual fee payment has been received, and you would know when you have paid your annual fees. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm hoping the colleague was answered, that within a reasonable space of time after paying, you should be expecting to receive your APC. And I can hear the colleague is sort of putting a week, but I mean, for me, within a reasonable space of time should suffice. That then you can sort of start worrying if you have not received your APC. And maybe, colleague, then just to also, if there's no other hand, my shooty has almost come to an end. Just to thank everyone who's on this platform. First of all, for honoring the invitation, and secondly, for the active participation that you have shown throughout the morning as we're engaging on this topic. I think, again, I'll probably say one of the things that I said when I opened, that nursing became a closed profession in this country in 1972, meaning that every nurse who nurses a patient must be registered with the African Nursing Council. And a lot of developments have taken place up to the stage where we are today. And one of the reasons which has made us to be where we are today is seeing what is going around, going in the country, where there's a lot of fraud that happens. So any printed document that you receive, you start worrying about whether it is genuine, legit, or not. And we have come across the APCs that actually what were proven to be APCs that have been copied somehow, and people were practicing using those. And it is, again, for me to stress that employers should rely more on the e-register than the paper that comes up. Because once the paper is printed and someone takes it and use whatever they use, it may come and still be reflecting through Dimaseko Kaseke when it's actually no longer like that. Someone else has used it. So as a nursing council, to protect the public and to ensure that the nursing profession remains a closed profession, we really hope that the e-register is going to help employers to verify whether the person that is actually nursing the nurses, the patients in their facility, or the person that is working as a nurse is indeed a nurse, by verifying this through our e-register. And I think, as I said earlier on, any other person who still insists that they are going to accept registration of a nurse via the piece of paper that has been registered, we are willing as Nursing Council to engage those people on our behalf to say the reason why we have moved to where we are is to make sure that our patients and our nurses that are on the system are nurses that are actually registered with us. And I think Dr. Mswede has answered that when a nurse is found to be guilty of any misconduct and is suspended or is struck off the roll, that will actually reflect on the e-register, that the person will come to you and apply for a job, but when you check on the system, it will show that this nurse has been suspended. Unlike what is happening now, because we know that nurses who are disciplined and actually suspended, they move from province to province, trying to avoid what they have been informed about, because they would know that there's no way of checking whether they are suspended or not, but we have improved on that. I also would like maybe just to again sort of state that the reason why we have the APCs and what APC was used before was exactly for that verification, that is proof that the person has been registered. So there's no reason now that we cannot then understand that the e-register does that even much more for all of us. And also to state that I did hear nurses, I did hear questions talking about the cohort of a nurse who's unemployed. Paying the aid for the APC is not really about only bulk payments, although employers are encouraged to say, if you've got a group of 10 nurses, 5 nurses, or whatever, a number of nurses, please, to assist the nurses and to assist us as SANC, if you can pay them in bulks and deduct from them, it assists the system. However, there are nurses who are, individual nurses, wherever they are working, who are also nurses that are still looking for employment, who pays to the South African Nursing Council to remain on the register. What I want to address the issue of, let us ask about the payment of courier and the APCs that have not been received. What we discovered earlier this year when we went to inspect one facility was there was a professional nurse who said, "I've paid, show us the proof of the courier payment that she has made." Everything said she had paid the amount, she had paid everything, but she had not received her APC. And when we engaged with the Nursing Council, with Mr. Mangani from Nursing Council side, first discovered that this is one of the nurses where we receive monies from nurses who are paying for themselves individually with wrong reference numbers. And I'm therefore asking that this platform can also spread to those nurses who pay for themselves individually to make sure that they put the correct ref numbers for them. Because this nurse had worked for the whole year without even knowing that, because the previous year their ref number was wrong, their money was received and put in a pool because it couldn't be identified to who it goes to. Only when you go the following year and it says, "No, I didn't receive my APC for last year. I've paid also for this year, I haven't received anything." But that actually meant that both, the amounts that she had paid for 2 years were referenced wrongly. So I think this platform can also assist us to say to those nurses who are registering, who are paying for themselves, please make sure that they follow the steps that have been advised by South African Nursing Council to make sure that their monies are allocated to the correct people, so that we avoid having money that, as council, we are reported that there is a pool of amount that has come from the nursing profession, but we cannot allocate because it has not indicated who the person who has paid that amount of money is. I think this is my request. But more than that, I really want to say thank you so much for all the inputs that you've given us. Thank you so much for the questions, as I asked earlier on, that please ask the difficult questions. That's going to make us to move from here to take, actions of things that we need to strengthen, to solve, and also to consider for us that as we are rolling out this electronic APCs, we make sure that we've closed the gaps where there should be any gaps that may hinder the process from running smoothly in the future. Colleagues, I really, really appreciate your inputs for everything that you've done. You've said, we have noted those things. We may not have answered all your questions, and I do agree But make no mistake, we are going to sit as a council and as a committee of laws to look into everything that has been raised and see how best can we steer the sunk ship in a manner that saves the profession and also protect the public as we are mandated and we're expected to. With those few words, colleague, I really, really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I'm not seeing anyone who's got any burning issue to raise before I say anything. Without any hand being raised, the time now is 2 minutes past 1 from my side. Thank you, colleagues. I then declare the meeting adjourned for the day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chairperson.
Bye.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, colleagues nationally.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. I've been muted. I'm not sure why. I was going to request the members that are sitting in the chamber to remain, if possible. Those at the sunk chamber, please remain with the register. And council members who may be on the platform.
So, but yeah, it's one of those things. Technology for us.
Sorry. Hey, ubulwa siwangisisa. Nasi sifuba singafuni. Noma ngidinga ukuyadoda. There you go. Ikilwa nani le? My chest ayifuna ukuphela. Ayifuna ukuphela. Sekhona abantu 157 attendance. Yabona? Bangaka. Abasisi unkulukazi. Dilitari lakhe.
Awa, njani?
Uthi ngikhombisa ukuthi sidinga uyilungisa le. Ole okay. At least I will do. Yeah. I think as a temporary solution, it might help us to lose lama points. At least we have 2 network points. Yeah. That one works, but it's a bit far. If we can have 2 points on this side, because I left. Let's talk to Tendai next week. Yeah. I think we can just pull a cable. We still have a little cable. Yeah. Now let's remind each other when she comes. Okay. 38. At 138 abantu abasezweni. Hey, nginamehlo wena. Hey. Ithini kanje. Yeah. I think ngingadlala la ngirepeat ngigcina then ngiyiva. Yini le? Amakhadi ejashe person. Okay. Hey, doctor. How are you? Thank you very much. Me, Ella. Yeah, to create solution.
Which was
Yeah, get out.
yeah, no, I
Sure.
don't take care of
Sure, how's it?
Sure, sure.
Sure, sure. Sure. Doctor. Yes. Ba file for quality for then they should be able to do it. Just not sure about that, but they should be able to do it.
So they are no longer advertised outside on the website only.
They give it to me goes to what?
Oh,
I haven't
okay. Oh, Pinel.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. No, that's fine. But I checked yesterday. I think it's yesterday. There was
nothing.
So layers manager research and project.
You're the job someone you know by inside.
But you upload them. And the Kirko wants something. I want this one. Yeah?
Dr. Muswell and Dr. Chabalala, you know, sometimes I go on and even comment about matters of the profession. So I hope I can